Hey there, men of all ages, shapes, and sizes. Andrew here. I've got a little DIY project I got to get done today. So this right here is my 2009 Ford Focus. I've got a problem with some squeaking in the engine. So whenever the car turns on and it's cold, there's a squeaking that you can hear that goes with the rotation of the engine. But as the car warms up, it starts to go away. I suspect that what it is my serpentine belt is slipping. If I look at it, it's got kind of pretty glazed on the smooth side. It's been about not enough time. I've got 115,000 miles on this car. I bought it at 32. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and see if it solves my problem. Either way, it'd be a good project to do. Before I continue, as a kind of a tangent, if you plan on doing any DIY work on your cars, which I highly suggest you do to save yourself some money, I highly suggest that you pick up a repair manual like this one. This one's from Haynes. And they make them per the make and model. So you can see this is for a Ford Focus 2003 2011. You obviously will have to pick one up for your particular make and model that you're using. I'll try to include a link in the description below for a couple different brands, because there's other good brands too, and you don't have to get Haynes. There's Shilton, I can't think of any others at the moment, but they're all equally good. They're all the same. Anyway, I highly suggest you pick one of these up if you're going to keep your car for more than just a couple of years. Anyway, before I delay any further, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so basically what we've got going on right here is this right here is our serpentine belt, which you probably can't see very well, but I'll include a close-up. We've got to get some components out of the way before we can really get to it. This cooling tank is one of them. We've got to take it. It's also, for the record, if you have a side-mounted engine like this, which is more common in smaller cars, it's suggested that you take off your front right tire and keep your car jacked up on jack stands. I don't really have the tools to make that practical at my disposal at the moment, so unfortunately I've only got mine up on a ramp. Even so, I'm going to try to work around that difficulty. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so what you're going to need for this project is a 10mm socket, a 15mm socket and ratchet, your serpentine belt, your belt diagram for your car. Also optional is 2 corn dogs, a glass of milk, and a pumpkin spice cookie. Let's get started. Okay, to remove the coolant tank, you're going to need your 10mm socket. Let's go ahead and speed this up to get past this, and try to keep your bolts with your parts so you don't lose them. So take the coolant tank, move it out of the way, kind of carefully. You don't want to spill or anything. Okay, and then you have a lot more access to all these parts. Okay, this part's going to be a little harder for me to show you. I'll try to get the best footage I can. Basically, we got to get under the car, and there's a plastic rock guard that's guarding this belt. We got to take off, and there's 2 screws for that, and 10mm as well. Also, by the way, going to get under your car, I highly suggest you wear safety glasses, just because all the dirt and stuff can fall and get in your eyes, and I hate that. As inconvenient as these can be, it's well worth it in my opinion. Okay, so we want to slide under the car. There's the plastic rock guard we're trying to remove, and the 2 screws for it are right here and right over here. Let's just get that out of the way. Okay, so now you see this little cover comes off of here. There you go. Again, always try to remember to keep all your bolts with your parts. Otherwise you'll be really upset later when you can't find them. Okay, now that we've got that plastic guard off, we can see much easier what's going on with the serpentine belt. So this is the main output from the engine, and that's what powers, or turns the belt, which powers your water pump, your alternator, your power steering pump, what else? Your air conditioner, and that's it, I think. Anyway, what we need to do to be able to get this off is we need to, basically, this right here is our tensioner pulley, which on this particular model of car, and I think most newer ones, this one's automatically adjusting, which is really nice, actually. Before, my old Ford truck that I had, you had to manually adjust it, which meant pulling on something with a wrench and then trying to tighten it down real fast with another wrench, and it was a big pain. But this one right here, all we have to do is this little fixture that I'm touching right here. I've got a 15mm socket. I'm going to try to get on there. There we go. Okay. And all I got to do is basically push away from me. You can see that. Push away from me, and then it automatically loosens that up and adds some slack into this belt. So we can pull it off right here. And then the belt's off. Now I just got to unwork it from everything else. Okay. So before I continue, you may have noticed all the debris and dust falling down towards the camera while I was working on the car. That's exactly why I say wear these when you're working on your vehicle. You just don't want to get that stuff on your eyes. Anyway, let's get this belt out of here. There's our old Serpentine belt. Okay, at this point, we want to take a break, and if you have it at your disposal, eat said corn dogs, and then drink said glass of milk. And then if you can, enjoy said cookie before we continue, just to kind of rehydrate and stuff. Again, this is totally optional, but I highly suggest you do. Okay, we've got our new Serpentine belt here, but we need to make sure that they give us the correct belt when we went to the store. So we need to take this belt and hold it up to our old belt and make sure they're the same length. Now, my advice is when you're opening up a package like this and you can remove it without destroying the package, you should always do that. Because if, like I said, for some reason they gave us the wrong belt, we'll be able to return it. And the belts do come in different sizes and lengths and stuff, so it is not unlikely that that can happen. So right here I've got my old belt. I'm just going to lay that out. I've got my new belt. Take that, lay them out, kind of hold them out together. It looks to me like they're the same. So, anyway, now we'll continue. Okay, so what we got here is we got our old Serpentine belt and we got our new Serpentine belt. And you can see that this one is smooth and glossy and this one is rough and textured and kind of grippy. I believe that this is what's causing my squeaking noises, because when this belt is cold, it tends to slip and it causes that squeaking, but when it warms up, the belt kind of loosens a little bit and it starts to go away. So hopefully replacing this will solve our problem. Okay, so we got a belt diagram here. That's what we're going to follow, and I'll throw up a picture of that for anybody who's working on the same kind of car. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to take this belt and we're just going to loop it down onto these pulleys, and we'll have to get it underneath the car again to take that chain tensioner and loosen it up just so we can slip the belt over everything and then let go, and then it should be fine. Okay, this part's going to be a little more difficult to show you exactly how I'm going to do it, but I'll do my best to show you walk you through what I'm going to do, and then show you and try not to block the camera as much as I can. I can't promise anything though. So I need gloves. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to take our belt, we're going to feed it down there, and we're going to loop around this pulley, which is pulley number 2 on our diagram that I showed you. It'll go on the top side of here, the grooved part will go up there, and it'll go down and around to that pulley down there. Not this one, that one. And it'll go around it and then back that way. So going the other direction, this pulley will go that way underneath this engine mount, all the way to this pulley here, which is flat. It's smooth on that side. And it actually goes underneath that pulley and then up and over this pulley here, which is attached to our alternator. So we'll go down and around, over top that one. And then we'll go down to underneath our belt tensioner pulley down there, which is hard to see from here. We'll go around that and we'll go back up, and so the groove side of the belt is on this side of that pulley, and the flat side is on this side. That will go over here, and the flat side will rest against this flat pulley. It will then loop around and then come back around our main pulley, which is attached to the engine, which is our main output. It's underneath this, so you can't really see it down there. You can kind of see it down there. Anyway, and then that will go back around and around that pulley. So that's basically what we're going to do. And we're going to start off. We're going to start off by taking our belt, and I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to loop it a little bit. I'm going to take it, I'm going to feed it down to the lower section of the car as much as I can. And the reason I want to do that is because instead of just like working with it and having it all up here, is because this flopping around in your way will be kind of frustrating. So I'm going to feed that all down there. So we're going to start off by going on the top of idler of pulley number 2 here. And we're going to go down, make sure we're going around that pulley number 3. And we're going to go, this pulley is going to go down and over here. So we got our belt over here now. Okay, right here. And we're going to go underneath. We got to go underneath that pulley number 1. And then up and over pulley number 7, which cooperated pretty well when I did that. Right there. Okay. And then I got to loop it around our idler pulley. Not idler pulley. The belt tensioner pulley, that one. Okay. Try not to block it. I'm sorry. I know I am. Okay. Now this part's a little bit kind of funky and hard to understand what I'm going to do, but I'll try to explain the best. So instead of, now I need to get up and over this one here, before I get underneath the car, because I won't be able to reach it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the belt here that I had going around here and kind of pull the excess back up around that pulley. I need to stay around my other pulley over there. So bear with me for a second. Okay, so now I've got that. I'm going to take that, and remember the flat side here goes on top of that. So there. Basically what we're doing is we're doing this loop there. And I'm going to take it, I'm going to loop it around, and then I'm going to feed the rest down in there. Hoping not to twist it like a moron. I promise. Alright, now so we got it down there, and then we can take that and kind of loop it back here. And so now, from the under side of the car, you see we got here, this here. Everything hopefully will stay kind of generally. Now we can go back underneath the car and make sure and loop it around the rest. So I've actually fashioned myself a cheesy little cheater bar here. I've got a wrench that I've taped to my other socket because my socket is so short, it's difficult to, it just makes it easier to turn that, and you're not trying to have to work so hard. So what we need to do is we need to, basically we've got our belt that's looped around that pulley up there that we were talking about before. And we need to loop it around the top side of this pulley and then down and over that pulley. It's hard to see, I know, but I apologize. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our little cheater bar. We're going to put it, we need our 15 millimeter again. Put it back over that. I'm going to use it to, that wants to stay. We're going to use it to give ourselves some belt tension, to take that belt and go up and over. Hopefully it will cooperate. Okay, up and over that pulley there. This is kind of tough. Okay, I think we've got it. Okay, I'll release that tensioner pulley, and it looks like we've got it. Inspect it to make sure that you've got it over all the grooves correctly. So it looks like it's fine here, it looks like it's fine there, looks like it's fine there, and I'll check up top too. Looks like it's okay here as well. And now we'll go back up top and we'll make sure it's all right, and hopefully we'll be able to start the engine. So now we're back up top, and we've inspected our pulleys, and the grooved ones are all fine. This one was off-centered a little bit, so I actually I had to get back down and loosen it up and then center that back up. But I couldn't do it myself, obviously, because I couldn't reach. So I went ahead and asked my wife to come out and help me with that. But anyway, just make sure that that's centered and it's not going to touch the metal right there or snag or anything. Same with that other flat pulley back here. But everything's fine, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start the car and see if that fixed our problem. Okay, let's go ahead and put back our coolant tank here. So we're going to take that back around. It was looped like that thing. Now there's a little thing down here that we know how to make sure and get that hooked on. So just make sure to do that. I can't really show you, so there we go. Slides right on there. And we got our bolts that I made sure to set aside. We got our 10 millimeter socket. Okay, so now we got our coolant tank back in. Let's get back underneath and put the rock guard back on. Okay, so now we got to put the rock guard back on. Okay. Camera moves. Alright. Got that back up there. Got bolt 1. Alright, so now we got the rock guard back on. Alright, I would say that's one successful DIY project. We put everything back, our serpentine belt's replaced. It sounds like the squeaking noise we were hearing is completely gone. So at the end of the day, I would say that the serpentine belt cost $50, and that was the only thing we purchased, only part we needed. And it probably would have taken about 2 or 3 hours if I'd just done it straight through. If you'd gone to a mechanic, it probably would have cost about $300 or $400. So at the end of the day, I would say that's a success. And I hope that that encourages you as men and as women too, really. Don't be afraid to tackle this kind of project when it comes to your car or do it yourself around the house yourself. In the age of the internet, there's really no reason to not just try out to go out and do your research. And ask around. Your parents are a fantastic resource for this sort of thing. My dad taught me so much about cars and so much about being a man and fixing things in general. Just having a handyman kind of mentality. So I encourage you to do that and then go out and do your research too. There are projects where you can bite off more than you can chew, but really I think that if you look into it and you try, you'll be surprised how often it seems like projects that seem large really are not when you break it down. So anyway, I hope this was helpful, and if you thought it was or you liked this video, please give it a like down there, thumbs up. I encourage you to subscribe to the channel too. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. We're going to have more videos like this that are more practical, DIY type stuff. I also have a series going on called Raising Autumn, where I talk about our thoughts as and our preparations as we get ready to have our first child. So it's pretty cool to see how that goes. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful, and I encourage you men out there to reject passivity, to lead courageously, to take responsibility, and to live for a greater reward. God bless you all.